Hindus are still being targeted. There is still religious hate that's happening against the Hindus, despite a BJP government. Mosques and churches are free from their control. Why aren't the Hindu temples freed? Which is further amped up by a very irresponsible opposition and this entire NGO, which was bankrolled by the US aid and other such things. But they are not addressed because of political calculations. And I don't blame the BJP completely for it, because they're also here to win elections. They had a complete brute majority, 303 seats. There's so much they could have passed at that point of time. They did not do that. Anyone who comes up and says, oh, Aadhaar was their idea. It was their idea for a limited pilot project which failed, and they never thought that Aadhaar could be used this extensively. People amongst us become bureaucrats, and people amongst the bureaucrats tomorrow or someone else becomes a minister. That is the entire chain that needs to be reformed, and it can only come with a change of a mindset.
Namaste and a very warm welcome to the Nationalist Madrasi. Today we have a very special guest who also hosts several guests in his podcast shows and very popular in the news media, regularly covering and discussing various national and international issues as well. We have Karan Verma today, and thank you Karan ji for coming in a very short notice, and it's been a pleasure watching your debates and your podcast in YouTube and in TV channels as well. So thank you for allowing me to host you, and it's a pleasure always seeing you, and it's very kind to have you in our show. Thank you so much, Karan ji.
I think it's very kind of you. You've invited me, and the moment I read the word Dharma, your name, I was immediately enticed to it. And when we started speaking, I think you're doing a great job here. Your channel, I've started watching your channel, and it's already hosting some of the best people. So good luck to you and more power to you.
Thank you, Karan ji. Thank you, and it's wonderful to have you here. Karan ji will discuss various topics in detail as well. Let me start with Bihar elections, which is going to be the major power-centric issue in 2025 as well. What are your takes on Bihar elections, Karan ji? Because it's a cakewalk for NDA, or it is going to be a struggle for the NDA. There are lots of questions which is to be unanswered as well. Can we trust Nitish Kumar? And I mean, can the BJP trust Nitish Kumar as well? So what all we'll start with, what is the current scenario which is going there? And we'll also discuss about the voters list issue in detail as well. And so what is the current scenario in Bihar, Karan ji?
So, Bihar, it's never a cakewalk. The history of Bihar, if we talk about it, the inner roads are still pretty bumpy. So, it's never a cakewalk for anyone in Bihar. In India, we love politics, and our elections are full of drama. Till the Bihar elections come, because that is when drama literally peaks. So this one is also not going to be any different. And you started with saying, can Nitish Kumar be trusted?
That's a bigger issue.
I mean, that's a joke. Even if you say this in JDU office, people start laughing. Even only Nitish Kumar knows what Nitish Kumar is doing. Okay. But by the way, this time around, what Nitish Kumar thinks has become an issue. Because RJD is running an entire campaign to discredit Nitish Kumar. Is he fit enough to continue in office? That is the big question that they've raised. You would remember the BJD disaster that happened in Odisha, where Naveen Babu's health, mental, cognitive ability became the center point of the election. They are trying to do something similar this time around in Bihar. So Nitish Babu has got his son this time. He's also going to be contesting elections. And NDA is a very interesting place, especially in Bihar. You have Chirag Paswan. So last time around, Chirag Paswan wasn't a part of the NDA in 2020.
Exactly. He spoiled the various places of Nitish's as well.
Exactly. So he played a damn squib last time around. This time, surprisingly, Chirag Paswan just a few days back has said, I will contest all 243 seats. So if he is contesting all 243 seats, how is this NDA then? So Chirag Paswan has understood his value in Bihar after the Lok Sabha elections. And he has not told every line of Prime Minister Modi. You would remember on the lateral entry and other issues, he's tried to throw his weight around. Nitish Babu, on the other hand, Nitish Kumar, what he's capable of, what he's doing. BJP in Bihar, it enjoys some support at the ground level, but it understands that there is a fatigue also.
Okay.
There is a fatigue against Nitish Kumar and BJP because they've been in power for quite some time, come to think of it.
I think nearly 20 years.
20 years, Nitish Kumar. I mean, barring the stints with RJD, a couple of years here and there, it's largely been them. And still Bihar continues to be the lowest in terms of per capita income. There are lots of issues in Bihar still. We know that.
Got it.
But what is the alternative? The alternative is Lalu Prasad Yadav.
Jungle Raj.
The Jungle Raj days, which still continue to haunt generations. And on top of that, the next generation is even more wild. You have Tej Pratap, who apparently has been expelled from the party. It's all a drama and a facade, but nevertheless, they're showing that he's been expelled from the party. And you have Tejasvi, you know, who's a lost soul himself. They call him ninth fail. That tag seems to have stuck around. So, because there is no credible alternative and people shudder to think what can happen if the Jungle Raj days are back, I think it's BJP and the NDA in driver's seat, provided they can be together. If they can be together, it's a state which is dominated by caste politics. So the caste arithmetic, at least on paper, works out well if Paswan, Nitish Kumar and BJP can come together. So they'll be trying for that, and also they have the Jitin Manjhi's party, Hindustan Awam Morcha. So I think they have their caste equations very well sorted, provided they can contest together and have an able distribution of seats.
So we'll talk about Chirag in a later part. I'll come to the BJP. BJP last time was 2 seats less than the RJD, which is the single largest party. I think RJD was 75 and BJP was 73. So what is BJP's role? It is, you also said that Nitish Babu is aged and RJD is trying that narrative as well. Can BJP, because we all know in this time also, I think BJP won around 12 seats or 13 seats in the Lok Sabha elections as well. It contested around 15 to 16 seats and it got a strike rate of 75 to 80%. And can BJP bring its own chief minister face in Bihar? That is another big question. And because since you mentioned the age, and can Nitish Kumar brought to the center, because he has earlier been in the central cabinet minister also, can Nitish Kumar brought to the center, and can BJP bring its own chief ministerial face over there?
I don't think they'll do it before the elections. So they'll try to pull off something the kind they did in Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, Eknath Shinde was apparently pretty much the chief minister in power, and many had assumed that he would be the CM. But when it came down to the strike rate, Devendra Fadnavis produced such an amazing result that then the chorus got stronger and people realized that BJP doesn't really need the Shiv Sena that much. And then Eknath Shinde only stepped aside and the whole chorus and everything gravitated towards Devendra Fadnavis. I think BJP would want the same to happen. Before the election, they would not make the mistake of announcing something like this, because they know that Nitish Kumar is a very shrewd political player. If Nitish Kumar alliances with Lalu, God forbid, if that happens, there is no way BJP is winning this election. And BJP knows that. We saw that. We saw that in 2015. And let's not forget, despite the Jungle Raj days and everything, RJD has been the single largest party every single time, the last the last 2 elections, 2015, 2020. So if Nitish Kumar goes that side, it's doomsday for BJP in Bihar. So BJP is going to play it very, very smartly. They're going to let Nitish lead, apparently, and at the same time hope that they get numbers where they don't need any of the parties. But the flip side of this is BJP cannot possibly have an alliance in Bihar. They can't have an alliance with RJD or Congress. So they'll always be dependent on Nitish. And that's why Nitish is a very lucky politician. I always say that. He's extremely lucky. And I don't think BJP can dare make that mistake of declaring their own CM candidate or even showing an inkling of ambition as of right now, for sure. Let's see what the future holds in store. Maybe they can strike a deal tomorrow when they win an election and when they are in the driver's seat. But that also looks very unlikely because Nitish is very shrewd.
Okay, so that's an impossible thing which the BJP
impossible at least right now. That's what I feel.
Right now. Okay, let's come to Nitish. What is JDU's stand? Especially, they have contested the 2024 elections with the BJP, and they also have a very good strike rate.
Wonderful.
And in fact, they also have some 2 to 3 campaigns, like where Lalan Singh was one of the power center, and I used to hear the stories where how the BJP compromised to make all these people as ministers, and how they made everyone together as well. So the other question is, what's stopping, like what is Nitish's mind right now? Because I asked you the same question, can Nitish be trusted by the BJP? So right now the bigger question is, like if the numbers are very less, like let's say if as you said, it is not the cakewalk, it is not every time a cakewalk as well. And let's say hypothetically, if the numbers are less, what would be Nitish's decision? And what if the numbers are very high, both from the JDU as well as from the BJP? What would be Nitish's decision? So what's your take on that?
So Nitish would obviously prefer to go with the BJP, but if the BJP tries to act smart, Nitish has a tremendous leverage. He can always turn towards the RJD. That's very clear. Nitish, there's a reason why Nitish has been in power for 20 years, even though he's not been the single largest party. So that shows the political acumen of the man. And a very interesting thing, I believe in the what ifs. I always love to analyze the what ifs. What if Nitish hadn't turned on Lalu and come to NDA's fold just 6 months before the 2024 elections? Can you imagine? Maybe Mr. Modi would have struggled to even get to 40 had there been an alliance of JDU and RJD. So, that is a very big what if moment in our political history. What if BJD had not capitulated in Orissa? BJP won 20 seats. Not many had expected that many seats. I mean, these are some big things that have happened.
Even Chandrababu Naidu came in the last
Even Chandrababu Naidu came into the... Thank God Akhilesh and Mayawati didn't come together the way they had come together in 2019. So there were a lot of what ifs that happened, thankfully, in BJP's favor, which is why Prime Minister Modi is the Prime Minister. Thank God for that. So Nitish understands that. At the same time, Nitish is at that stage in life where he wants stability. He wants to enjoy power with the center. He also wants to see his son well settled now, come up the ranks. So he would obviously want a deal with BJP till BJP tells him, listen, we clip your wings, we'll have our own CM. That's the time when Nitish can turn around and, think of going to the other side. But then again, when he goes to the other side, will he be offered the CM's chair? So Nitish is in a tricky situation. He will want, obviously, the NDA to win this election so that he doesn't have to hop at this age. That's what I feel, right?
But looking back at the history, what made Nitish to go back to RJD in either in 2014, we can say, or in 2017, if I'm not wrong. He came back in 2017, and again 2019 event.
He went back.
So what made Nitish to take a long U-turn about all these things actually?
I think it was very clear that Nitish understood the design of BJP at certain times where he felt that maybe he just might be sidelined and BJP might bring their own person at the helm and take over the CMship. That's been a growing insecurity of Nitish Kumar right from day one. And he immediately changed sides. But now, because he's become indispensable to the center, with the center not getting a clear majority, BJP, his insecurities were allayed because he always had that leverage. That if you try to do hanky-panky in Bihar, I can always pull the rug under your feet there at the center. So that's where Nitish got that leverage and became very secure. He would want to be secure. Everyone would want to be with the winning party that's in the center. You get to enjoy great favors. You get special packages for your state. You're always safe as far as ED and CBI is concerned. So Nitish would obviously want that. But if he doesn't get that, then his political ambition will rise. If he senses that there is a chance of him losing the CMship, he'll resort to that. But as of now, I think he is very much in NDA and he very much wants the NDA to cross the line. And even the BJP would not want to mess up the situation because BJP still has a long way to go before 2029. And Bihar and UP are going to be very crucial. They do understand that it's 11 years. In 11 years, anti-incumbency does start coming in,
Exactly.
and they have 3-4 more years to go. So they would not
It's going
want
to be 15 years of anti-incumbency.
Absolutely. That'll be massive. So they would not want to mess up the apple cart till 2029, and UP and Bihar are very crucial insofar as that is concerned. So the best bet for RJD would be that they maximize, and Congress does better. Whoever does better, I doubt Congress would do better in Bihar, but whatever they can do, and then try to play that card so as to destabilize the NDA at the center. But I don't see that happening. If you ask me, if I put on the prediction hat, I don't see that happening. I think the NDA is going to sail through, and Nitish Kumar will continue to be the CM.
Let's also talk about Chirag, the rising star of Bihar as well. And he is very ambitious, and we can see that he wants to become the chief minister of Bihar. And he also told that I am moving from the center politics to the state, not only the 243 seats which you have mentioned. You also earlier mentioned that I am moving to the state politics apart from the rather than even though he is the minister of central government. So what's your take on that? Can Chirag be a chief ministerial phase, or a chief ministerial candidate, or potential chief minister in future? Because this election largely surrounds upon RJD's Tejasvi Yadav and Nitish Kumar as well. And so what is your take on that? Like how Chirag is going to play a major role, and even people say that Chirag should join the BJP for aspiring to be the chief ministerial candidate. So what's your take on that, Karanji?
So, I think Chirag, if he was assured that he would be the CM candidate in BJP, he would not even bat an eyelid and he would join the BJP.
Okay.
But unfortunately, in BJP, if you today go out to their cadre, to BJP's cadre, and ask them to name the Rajasthan CM, Madhya Pradesh CM, and Gujarat CM, I'm telling you 90% of them won't be able to answer without looking at their mobile phones. And you add Chhattisgarh CM to it, full 100%. Hardly anyone, probably people like me who are on television every day, they can probably answer. Others, no chance. So the BJP loves the fact that they make certain people sit in positions where they may not be mass leaders. They may not be that popular. So Chirag, unfortunately for Chirag, when he's that popular, when he's actually CM material, perhaps he won't perhaps fit into the trappings of the BJP. BJP generally has people, except for Yogi Adityanath and Himanta Biswa Sarma and now Devendra Fadnavis, it has CMs who are not such big mass leaders. And I think that's unfortunate. I would love to see more mass leaders come and become CMs. So I think Chirag would not be so sure, which is why he would want to retain his identity and keep his party strong.
Got it.
So that's how, everybody is wanting to keep their space secure in Bihar and have that leverage in their hand. That's what this Bihar election is all about, if you ask me.
Yeah, we'll move to the other things as well. We have spoken a lot about Bihar, Karanji. And so basically the 11 years of Modi governments, that is governance and government, we can say. I would like to have a brief discussion on that actually. 2014,
Exactly.
I think nearly after 30 years, a party came with a single largest majority.
Absolutely.
2019, it has repeated
Exactly.
larger than 2014 as well. 2014, there was a certain miss, and because obviously 10 years you were in power, anti-incumbency would be there, and all such things happened. So, what are your takes on this 11 years of Modi government? Where did we score highly and where did we miss? What are your takes on that, Karanji?
So many of the areas we scored heavily. I mean, in terms of the social programs, it's unbelievable what this government has pulled off. I mean, more than 12 crore toilets, 12 crore gas connections, tap water connections. Can you believe that after so many years of independence, we did not even have the basic facilities in our villages, in our rural households? So that's a game changer. The scale at which it has happened, it's changed lives. Certain other schemes like Mudra loans, that's given rise to a large number of small entrepreneurs. And other things like drone Didis and other self-help groups that have come up in villages especially. unbelievable achievements. National security, again, that's one area where we've done incredibly well. Red corridor obliterated. There were so many districts which were affected by the Naxal affected terror. That's gone. Most of it is gone. Article 370 removed. A cultural nationalism that's come up. That is absolutely brilliant. Ram temple coming up. A lot of people say it's the courts who decided that. Yes, the courts decided that. But it was also the UP government at that time which translated so many documents in record time which were pending for decades together. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's not talked about that. So this government facilitated that in a way. So I think those are incredible achievements. Having said that, as citizens, we always expect more, and rightly so. Okay. There have been certain misses also, like the illegal immigrants, the Rohingyas. Mm. I think it's high time they were weeded out. They were deported. Okay. I mean, the figures that were given 10 years back, and the figures are still very high. It runs in crores. Some people say 5 crores. Some people say 4.5 crores. We haven't had an NRC either. I would have loved to see an NRC. I would have loved to see these illegal Rohingyas or illegal immigrants weeded out. That's a cause of national security, economic security. The demographic change it can bring about, right? So these are things this government has talked about, but it's been 11 years now. So no point blaming others for it. Yes, I do understand there are those NGO groups, there are those PIL activists like Prashant Bhushan who go to the courts, but then you have to figure out a way. So that is one where I would have loved to see the government do more. I would have loved to see the government do much more in West Bengal. Okay. How can a state government run complete havoc, what we saw in Murshidabad, what we've seen in post-poll violence, and the central government say that, look, they're doing this. I'm not saying you dismiss the state government completely. Maybe that's an option, I don't know. But do something. I mean, send some instructions under Article 256, make up a case for dismissing that government, do something. We can't be sitting ducks when Hindus are being asked to leave in mass. What happened in Murshidabad after the Waqf? Waqf is another great achievement. But I mean, Hindus still can't be insecure in certain areas. Look at what's happened in Nu. Right now in Nu, when the Kawad Yatris have to go, there's special security, and this is a BJP government in Haryana. I mean, that speaks a lot. Still, we are getting stone pelters throwing stones at Hindu religious processions. So I think that's where we need to do more. Hindus are still being targeted. There is still religious hate that's happening against the Hindus, despite a BJP government. That needs to be curbed down. Got it. That is where I think we need to do much more than what we're doing.
So Hindus' safety should be the first priority among all this.
I mean, it pains my heart that even today, they say it's the Hindutvavadi government in the center. And you still have the Places of Worship Act that hasn't been removed. You still have lakhs of Kashmiri Pandits who haven't been rehabilitated. You still have people who are fighting for Gyan Vapi and other things, and these temples have to be restored. And the temples have to be freed from government control.
Got it.
I mean, mosques and churches are free from their control. Why aren't the Hindu temples freed? We can do so much great stuff with our culture, with our heritage. We can have our own pathshalas. We can have so many things. But provided you free our Hindu temples, and many of these Hindu temples are headed by people who say religion is opium of the masses. Kerala and other places, you have people who are talking about eradication of Sanatan Dharma, who are easily living off temple funds and sitting on top of that. So that can't happen. And that is what the mandate was in 2014. It was very clear. Hindu safety. I mean, the majority cannot be the victim in this country. I'm not saying anyone should be the victim, but surely the majority being a victim, that's a sad commentary. I mean, we need to do much better than what we've done. There's a lot that we've done, but there's a lot that we need to do in terms of that.
So what are the challenges they have faced for all these 11 years? Because some were really very given. We can't think that this thing has happened. Like I'll talk about the first 11 years and then the rest 4 years. What are all the challenges going to be for them? So one thing is Article 370, abrogation of Article 370, either be triple talaq or even demonetization was a challenge to the government actually. It was. And let's say we can we go to the buff, which was recently
Waqf
done,
amendment, yeah.
CAA, and we
CAA,
have
yeah.
seen number of Delhi being the hotspot of the protest, and even like what to say, we can
Farm laws,
agriculture laws, which has been there, and then the government has to back at certain point of time. What are all the challenges like there have been, like, and it also you spoke about Naxalism. We'll also talk about that in detail as well, because Amit Shah is working day and night to eradicate.
That's one of the biggest achievements of Amit Shah personally as Home Minister and this government. The way they have obliterated the Red Corridor. Hats off to them for that. I think that's one of their biggest achievements, along with Article 370 removal, which you rightly mentioned, and national security in general. These are their biggest achievements. So no question about that. You talked about the challenges. I think the biggest challenge was, you need to understand that our country, with diversity, comes all strands of thoughts, some of the opinions may not be that well formed. And when there is misinformation, which is further amped up by a very irresponsible opposition and this entire NGO, which was bankrolled by the US aid and other such things, you have a very tricky situation in a country of 1.4 billion. So our citizens, I think we as the civic society, we also need to improve. We also need to get better. It's a very big challenge getting anything done here. You look at our railway tracks. I mean, you will see so much of dust, so much of dirt, so much of thrown straws and biscuit packets and whatnot. I mean, till what extent can the government work if the citizens don't improve themselves? You can't get work done through these bureaucrats. I mean, you can have all the political will, the minister says something, what if the bureaucrats are sitting on it for 20 days and the citizens are suffering? So till we as people don't evolve, it's very difficult for the government to work. This government has done a lot of work, but there's a lot that needs to be done. Take, for example, farm laws. I think the farm laws could have been a game changer. Absolute game changer. We saw how our economy was liberalized in 1991 and we continue to reap the benefits of it. We were growing at a mere 2%, 3% rate, and they used to shamelessly call it the Hindu rate of growth. There was nothing Hindu about it, you know. In Hindu, if we talk about our Sanatan Sanskriti, the 4 Purusharth include Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha. Dharma, your name, Kam, Arth. Without Arth, there is no Dharma. So we've always believed in the power of Arth. So it was never the Hindu rate of growth. Once the economy was liberalized, we grew and we galloped fast also. That sort of opening up of the economy has never happened with the agriculture sector. Today, in the name of MSP, and I'm not against MSP, but with MSP, what have you done? Take, for example, Punjab. Today, the water table in Punjab is depleting. We've reached to a point where the future generation will be completely out of water. Why? Because the farmers there are growing only wheat and rice because they enjoy an MSP for that. There are Hatiyas or the middlemen in between. They have a nexus and they get unbelievable amount of supply bought at MSP. And you'll be surprised, the Food Corporation of India, so much of our grains are rotting there. They are rotting to a point that the Supreme Court, when people say that 80 crore people are getting ration, the Supreme Court had pretty much ordered that in 2012 to Sharad Pawar, who was the agriculture minister. The Supreme Court's words that there is food rotting in the FCI godowns. And why is food rotting in FCI godowns? Because people are growing wheat and rice disproportionately and enjoying an MSP over that. If there was diversification of crops, we would not have that kind of wastage. We would have other crops. We would have better godowns if private players are invited into it. We would have better storage facilities. That is not happening. The farmer income can go up. Absolute lies being spread. And this is where we've missed the big train on reforms as far as agriculture is concerned. And we still need to address many of the issues, but they are not addressed because of political calculations. And I don't blame the BJP completely for it, because they're also here to win elections. I mean, if people stand up against them, there's only that much they can do. We saw that with the Land Acquisition Act. CAA.
First thing.
CAA. I mean, this was for giving citizenship to the persecuted. Something that Manmohan Singh had talked about on the floor of the parliament. And look the kind of crazy fanaticism we saw, buses being blown up, campuses becoming boiler room brawls. I mean, it was crazy. So, which is why the government could never even contemplate NRC. If CAA met with such resistance, and with CAA also a handful of citizens got citizenship, and that too many years later when the rules were framed. So too little has happened in regards to that, because the government also started buckling under pressure with CAA and farm. I think what the government needs to do now is they need to dig their heels in and take it heads on, because especially the Hindu voter today, they want reforms. They want the government to show some strength. I think the government did not show that much of strength from 2019 to 24. They had a complete brute majority, 303 seats. There's so much they could have passed at that point of time. They did not do that. So I think right at this point of time, it would be great if the government can push those big ticket reforms. That is what is needed right now, not to buckle under pressure the way they did with farm laws or with CAA.
Currently, I want to bring in two areas. One is foreign policy, which had a major shift, major change from 2014.
Right.
And the other was the bureaucratic challenge, which the Modi government faced in, because we all know how the bureaucratic nexus or the bureaucratic system works. Rather than me, you know it very well, being in the system. Like, what was the challenge from 2014? Because I'll first bring in the bureaucratic challenge, because Prime Minister Modi did something which no one had tried, because the main thing which he tried was the direct benefit transfer, which has been gone to several people, be it 6,000 to the farmers or Mudra Yojana or anything. Like it has been the direct deal between the government and the beneficiaries. Exactly. There is no middleman which has been involved. For all these years, we have seen that middleman has been involved, and the even I think Rajiv Gandhi made a famous speech.
Gandhi made a famous speech. When I send a rupee, only 15 paise reaches.
10 paise go and reach the beneficiaries. So what shift and what made the Modi government, because there was previous governments also, and we have been celebrating Manmohan Singh till now. The left celebrates Manmohan Singh for the economic credit which have been done, or saving the economy, or let's say he has been one of the finest economists in the country. So what made the Modi government to do all these things, rather than he has been criticized, Modi ji has been criticized for all the economic measures he has took place. Like what made the BJP government to do all these things?
Are you talking about the direct benefit transfers?
Yes.
So, one of the big game changers for the Modi government was the direct benefit transfers. So let's jog our memories back to 2012-13 when Aadhaar was being brought about.
Exactly.
So at that time, they did have it in their minds, the then UPA government, that can we use this for directly transferring gas subsidies? But they completely failed. They failed and they rolled it back. So anyone who comes up and says, oh, Aadhaar was their idea. It was their idea for a limited pilot project which failed, and they never thought that Aadhaar could be used this extensively. Now, why did it fail? It failed because they hadn't banked the unbanked at that time. So any policy, you have to go about it systematically. You can't work in a silo. They failed because complete digitization hadn't yet happened, which is why BharatNet was a massive project started by the Modi government, where they wanted optical fiber cabling to be done across panchayats. Lakhs of panchayats were covered through that. So A, they brought in the digital infrastructure. B, they ensured that everybody was banked through the Jan Aadhaar. So the moment Mr. Modi took to power, he ensured that record accounts were open. At that time, P. Chidambaram used to mock, and even Raghuram Rajan mocked. Why are we in such a hurry of making bank accounts? Well, he was in a hurry to make bank accounts because that's where you had slipped up the last time you wanted to implement this policy. So then you had an infrastructure set, and that is when you went ahead with these schemes. And once they started rolling in, it was a nightmare for bureaucrats. It was a nightmare for everyone, in the sense that the middlemen were completely knocked out. So that is where it turned out to be a complete game changer. Now to your point that, what are the bureaucratic challenges? So this is one where you pretty much bypass the bureaucracy. It became a direct benefit transfer. But there are other projects where you need bureaucrats, hardcore infrastructure projects, our roads, our bridges, our drains. I'm sitting in Delhi right now. It's still a mess in many ways. It's still a mess. It was a deeper mess when Kejriwal was in power. But right now, couple of rains and you see how the drains start overflowing. At the end of the day, the MLAs, the ministers have to get the job done through the bureaucrats. The bureaucrats have to get it done through the contractors. The contractors have to get it done through the labor. This entire chain, if there are dishonest or lethargic elements, the work will not be done and it's the minister who will be questioned. So that is the biggest challenge, changing our mindset. Our chalta hai attitude has gone on for way too long. And we are to be blamed for that. We as citizens need to step up. A lot of politicians will tell you we are great people, but led by bad politicians. I beg to differ. Our politicians have come from amongst us. The day we start demanding that sort of accountability, we will see that accountability come through in the ministers. They understand what's important to us and they play along that. When we press for Yamuna to be clean, you see how the efforts of this government have gone into cleaning Yamuna. They understood that it's not a small issue, it's a major political issue. So they better clean that. The day we start demanding better roads, no matter what happens, and we start making it a voting issue rather than caste becoming a voting issue, that's when these netas will line up to ensure this happens. That's when these bureaucrats will also be fired the moment they don't deliver. So that is the entire challenge. It starts from us. People amongst us become bureaucrats, and people amongst the bureaucrats tomorrow or someone else becomes a minister. That is the entire chain that needs to be reformed, and it can only come with a change of a mindset. I think as our economy is growing and people have begun to travel, they've started to demand those things. Whether it's those people who were in villages and towns, when they came to cities, they started demanding that sort of infrastructure in villages. Those in cities, when they traveled abroad, they started demanding that sort of infrastructure in our main cities. That is where the change is beginning to come. And that's why I believe it's very important that we as citizens build that pressure. Channels like yours, forums like ours, they are very, very important to ask the right questions. Now coming to your point on foreign policy, which is I think one of your favorite subjects. I think you discuss foreign policy a lot. It also happens to be one of my favorite ones. I think we've done very well there. We've done very well. Of course, there are too many challenges. I'll give you an example. Like I was on a lot of debates and people said, oh, nobody stood by us in Operation Sindoor. So I just wanted to jog their memories, and I want to share this with your audience also. Back in 1971, when we had a war with Pakistan, every single Islamic nation not only passed a resolution against us, many of them sent their enforcements or weapons to support Pakistan. Even Sri Lanka, can you imagine Sri Lanka offered its base to Pakistan for refueling so that they can go towards the Bay of Bengal and attack India there, which was doing its operation in then East Pakistan. Even Sri Lanka was dead against us. Britain sent its H-77 or some engines. US sent its fleet. I mean, every nation was against us and they did something to ensure our loss at that time. That is where we came from. We came from that to today when not a single nation passed a resolution against us.
Everybody condemned the attack on...
Everybody condemned the attack
done by Pakistan.
Exactly. The German foreign minister, I think, who was sharing the stage with Jaishankar said India reserves the right to defend itself. Pretty much saying that they deserve the right to attack. And we, by the way, we went into a nation and attacked their sites.
Exactly.
Right? Not a single condemnation. In fact, UAE and all these places pretty much tacitly, they understood our point of view. Even Turkey and China, they might have sent their weapons and all. They couldn't say a word against us. US, barring for that last second Donald Trump eccentricity, which is also pretty much mindless. Not many people take that seriously. But barring that, no one said anything to us. So we've come a long way. And when people say nobody is standing with you, that is a price you pay when you are rising to the top. Today, India is no longer one of those nations who you looked at with curiosity. Today, we are a competitor. We are being seen as the China +1 factor. Apple is shifting its production here. Trump is telling Tim Cook, don't go to India. We are in that sort of a position where we are the 4th largest economy and we are rising up. So the price you pay for going to the top is that you at times are alone, but then not many are against you when you are rising to the top. And that's exactly the kind of position we enjoy. Can you imagine, Dharm? We are the nation that's a part of SCO. We are also a part of Quad, which is essentially against the Chinese. We are pretty much putting China in the dock there along with Australia, Japan and US ensuring that the South China Sea route is secure and the critical earth elements are not just reserved for China and China's expansion in this Indo-Pacific region is curtailed. We are ensuring that. At the same time, we are a part of SCO. I think the Britain Prime Minister, someone said, how the hell is this country a part of SCO as well as Quad?
Exactly.
So we've managed to, walk that line where we are buying oil from Russia. We are getting weapons from US. We are looking for reconstruction projects in Ukraine. And we've managed to pull this entire thing off. So it's tough. It's scary at times. But then India is ready for this. And I'm glad that we have people like S. Jaishankar, we have people like Ajit Doval and the Prime Minister who's understood that now is not the time where in those Cold War days, we used to be non-aligned, like we are non-aligned. From there, we've come down to, we are aligned to everyone as per our needs, except for our bitter foes like Pakistan. We are aligned with a certain limit to everyone. So there's a big mindset change from non-aligned to we are aligned with whoever suits us.
Got it.
So that's the kind of change we're talking about. As we were talking, S. Jaishankar just met Xi Jinping. By the way.
Yeah.
So
I think the SCO summit is taking place, if I'm not wrong.
SCO summit just happened. Now he's just met him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is incredible that we are now understanding, and anyone who paints this as black and white is very stupid. Foreign policy doesn't work like this. Trump said this.
And we still support the two-state policy and have a very good relationship with Israel as well.
Exactly. So, we have a very good relationship with Israel. We have a very good relationship with Iran.
Yeah.
Israel and Iran are fighting. We get our oil from, we used to get our oil from Iran. Now we mostly get it from Russia. But that option is open for us. We have to ensure that our route through Iran is secure. We don't want a regime change in Iran. At the same time, we don't want Iran to become nuclear. Exactly. Right? So, it's all so deep and nuanced that when people pass casual statements like surrender, Narendra, and look, Trump doesn't look at you, this is so foolish. We have to serve our interests here,
Karanji, I want to bring up one major issue. This actually, people from my generation eventually ask these questions to ourselves as well. 26/11, Pakistan terrorists came inside India and they did a brutal attack, and there was continuous serial blast, which you might be noticing as well in that UPA 1 and 2. What happened after that? Like right now, there has been they couldn't able to cross the border. One thing is that, and major strikes have been done in Uri or Pathankot, that to all our border areas. What made, and we didn't retaliate after 26/11. What made the Modi government to act brave, go inside Pakistan, not only POJK, go apart from that, go near Lahore, go near Islamabad, Murid,
Bahawalpur,
Bahawalpur,
went to Punjab, every place.
Some other places. What made them to do such things? And this is not. This is an on-record conversation where Shahbaz Sharif himself told that India attacked us before. So, what brave decision did the Modi government take? I mean, like, when we are comparing, I'm not comparing, by the way, like when we see the UPA 1 and 2 and see the Modi government for all these 11 years, what made them to do all these things currently?
So, that's a very good question. That's why I say, when people say, it doesn't matter who the Prime Minister is, we are going to go on with our own lives. It mattered to everyone when Operation Sindoor was going on. You remember those 5-7 days?
Yes.
National security is the single most important thing. You can go about your lives and everything, but when it comes to national security, you realize the importance of who is in power. The last government, there were 70 blasts that happened in 2008 across the country. 161 were killed in 26/11. And what do? 4 months later, we do a Sharm el-Sheikh, where we pretty much say that we will discuss Kashmir also, and we are doing something similar in Baluchistan. That was a disaster, a diplomatic disaster. We continue to give Pakistan the most favored nation status. Instead, we blame RSS for it. You remember that 26/11 RSS ki sazish which Digvijay Singh launched. Today we know Rakesh Maria, the then police chief of Mumbai, he's talked about it. RVS Mani, who he's talked about inside the corridors of Home Ministry, how they entirely fabricated the story. And if not for Tukaram Umbaleji, they would have passed off Kasab as someone who's Hindu, Samir or some name they had mentioned, wearing a kalava, and they would have gone ahead with this Hindu terror theory just to appease a certain vote bank, just to play this stupid evil game of monkey balancing. They would have gone ahead with this narrative of Hindu terror. So that's what the last government was all about. It was all about appeasement. It was all about weakness. I remember A.K. Antony standing in the parliament saying, we are not making any roads along the Ladakh border with China because making no roads is our best strategy. It will irk China. Today, the BLO, the BRO, the Border Roads Organization, has done a stellar job. We have tremendous infrastructure there that can help us against China now. So this is a government that was focused on national security and that understood that Pakistan doesn't understand the language of dossiers and petitions and these stupid exchanges with them. It doesn't understand that. So as there is a saying in our Ramayan, bhay bin hoy na preet. So bina bhay ke preet nahi hoti. Till there is no fear, till there is no deterrence, the other party doesn't get it. Certain elements don't get it, and Pakistan is the worst out of them. So then it's now become a policy. It's now become a stated policy. It was one from 2016 onwards that if there is an act of terror, it will be treated as an act of war and we will retaliate back. Simple. There will be a price to pay for Pakistan for every single misadventure. And I pay my respects to this government for having this policy so clearly articulated. It came from the citizens itself. Citizens were very clear this needs to happen. The Air Chief Marshal at that time in 2008 is on record saying, we had asked the government to strike Pakistan. The government didn't do that. In fact, Manmohan Singh wore it as a badge of honor when he met George Bush. He said, look, there was tremendous pressure, but we are peace-loving people. We did not do it. So this is now, you can't be peace-loving. If someone is attacking you and breaching your national security, then that's not peace-loving, that's weakness. So it was a very weak government we had then. Today we have a government that's strong on national security, and it has even taken the risk, because let's not forget, Pakistan is a nuclear state at the end of the day. Despite that, it's for the first time happened that a country has gone inside a nuclear armed state and attacked their interiors. So it's also called out the nuclear bluff, that if you can't scare me that you have nuclear weapons all the time. Yes, there is an apprehension. I will not discount that. If Pakistan were not a nuclear state, we would have swallowed it by now, to be very honest. But because it's a nuclear state, that doesn't mean you can get away with any act of misadventure and we don't do nothing. If you try the nuclear thing, we will absolutely obliterate you, and we can't be now, intimidated by this. Oh, you can't blackmail us with this nuclear trick. Because understand this, in Pakistan also we have generals who love their lives. They have those elements, those radical elements who give their lives, but these are the ones who are enjoying their lives in London. They would also not very easily press the nuclear button because they know hell and fire is coming their way. So in a way, this government is called the bluff. The coming days are going to be even trickier for us, because we cannot be settled till Pakistan doesn't break into four. Till the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir doesn't come back to us, which is rightfully ours. Till those things happen, until Pakistan is not a nuclear state, because a dangerous country like Pakistan should never have nuclear weapons. That's what the world needs to wake up and realize. That's where Osama bin Laden was found, London bombers, Madrid bombers, so many. But the world, unfortunately, is yet to wake up to this reality. That's a sad part.
Got it.
If the world doesn't wake up to this, Pakistan is an existential crisis to the world.
Perfect. Very well put up, Karanji. And I think we should also discuss two more topics. One thing is Delhi. We live in Delhi, and now I am also a Delhiite.
Absolutely.
So what major things needs to be changed in Delhi, infrastructure-wise, road-wise, or in everything? Like we can keep on saying that, because it's a national capital, and pollution is one such scary issue where everybody is so afraid to come to Delhi as well. And the other thing is, what are the challenges which is faced by the BJP government, and what expectations do we need to have from the ruling BJP government, especially Karanji?
I think we should have massive expectations from the government. They have a power. They have power in the center, state, the municipal corporation also. They're going to have their mayor. I think they already have their mayor, perhaps. There's no reason why they can't get the job done. The situation in Delhi continues to be pathetic. I mean, you talk about the interiors. It's disturbing. The streets are flooded with water, the drains are overflowing, it's smelling, sewage all across, so much of waste, so much of garbage. There's no reason. I mean, there is absolutely no reason. Makes little sense that we are one of the biggest economies in the world and we can't keep our capital clean. It's a disgrace, to say the least.
Okay.
And what are we offering our people then? If staying in the capital city, you are stuck in traffic jams, you are breathing the air that you should not be breathing, you are getting potholes everywhere, you're getting drains which are overflowing and smelling, then you should not blame us or Indians for stepping out and looking for greener pastures in other countries. I mean, it's our moral responsibility as a government to give the citizens these things when they are electing you time and again. So this is where I expect a lot from this government. Having said that, they are trying to work. It's just been 100 days. I expect a lot more from them. I'm going to continue pressurizing them. I'm going to continue asking them the tough questions. I was one of the big voices in saying Kejriwal needs to go. I campaigned very strongly against his policies. He left Delhi in a mess. Can you just imagine that because of electrocution, so many people die every year? Last year it was 50, close to 50 people die because our drains overflow and our gates and other things, they have current running in it and people get electrocuted. What can be a bigger shame than this? People die in this city because of the lack of governance. We cannot have that. We cannot certainly have that in the capital. We should not have that in any part of the country. But if we are having that in Delhi, it's the government to be blamed. We can wait a little because it's been just 100 days, but you need a complete revamp. The drainage system that we have in Delhi is of 1976. It should ideally change every 20 years. It's not yet changed. We're sitting in 2025. I mean, close to 50 years now.
Yeah.
Arvind Kejriwal in 2015 said, I have appointed IIT Kharagpur. Then Kharagpur came up with a report in 2018, then said, oh, this report is not good. Then COVID happened, then other things happened. He's delayed it for so many years. He's left Delhi in a mess, but at least the BJP needs to solve it. The infrastructure, the inner infrastructure. I'm not happy with just one bridge. If the inner roads are broken, if there is sewage all across, if the drains are overflowing, then it's a mess and the government needs to be held accountable for it.
So I think it has been 5 months of Rekha Guptaji's government.
Yeah, exactly. They celebrated 100 days just some time back. So we can cut some slack, but
What's your rating for Delhi government or CM Rekha Gupta?
It's too early to rate, but I would say for effort, it's overall 6 or 7 out of 10 right now. But I expect a 10 on 10. I expect them to be at least 8 on 10. That's where I would like to see them, because I'm not happy with cosmetic changes. I come from GK. I saw some of the patchwork being done there. I'm not happy with the patchwork. There has to be a complete overhauling. There has to be a new drainage master plan that has to be passed.
Got it.
Has the proposal come up for it? I don't think they've sent a proposal for that. These are the things that need to be revamped. We need more flyovers, better bridges. We need to ensure that people are rehabilitated so that the entire Jhuggi Jhopdi, which has, captured large parts of the road. You go to Max Saket, the street in front of the Max Hospital. It has so many settlements. I mean, it's one of the leading hospitals and you can't even enter it. It's so messy. A leading hospital having that sort of an entrance and that kind of a mess, and you clearly see
that area is always trafficked also.
Always. I mean, you have people dying because they're not able to reach a hospital trapped in traffic. It is insensitive, this kind of governance. So this needs massive changes. If you do cosmetic changes, that's a problem.
Got it.
So I want this government to do overhauling. They've yet not set their foot on overhauling. They're doing a lot of patchwork, but that's going to fall apart in a matter of months.
Perfectly put up. And I just want to bring one more issue, Karanji,
sure.
And which is a very sensitive issue as well. And we have been recently seeing that speak Marathi or speak Kannada in their native languages as well. I come from a place where twice anti-Hindi agitation has happened because the DMK was all along favor of it, and they made that protest, and that was a turning point where Congress lost its power in Tamil Nadu, and then they couldn't come up till date. And what is this language politics all about? What is your take on that? And we have been seeing the hard language which is being used in Maharashtra and Karnataka as well. So what's your take on that? And what is the way forward for all these language issues? Because when you go to Bihar or in UP, every 50 or 100 kilometers, there will be a different dialect, or there will be different languages as well. And Awadhi, Bhojpuri, something as well, Mithili, some kind of other languages will be there. And if you go to Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh or even Kerala, there will be different dialects and there will be different languages as well. So what is the way forward for this languages issue, which is rising all the day? It has been there in for all the 77 years since we got independence. What's your take on that?
I think it's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, we should celebrate all our languages.
Exactly.
I love all the languages that I'm able to understand. I wish I knew more. So I think it's a shame that instead of celebrating this diversity, politicians have used this to pit one human against the other. And they're a bunch of hypocrites. It needs to be called out, their hypocrisy. And you look at, for example, Raj Thackeray. Raj Thackeray just attended Amir Khan's screening for Sitare Zameen Par. Now that's a Hindi film, right? Tell Raj Thackeray and his bunch of goons to go and explain that to Ambani and Adani. Do they have the guts to tell Ambani and Adani that you better speak in Marathi? His son was dancing as an extra in Ambani's wedding. You saw that?
Yeah.
His son has, by the way, cut an album by the name Umeed, which has all 8 Hindi songs. So much for hypocrisy. I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves. And there they are resorting to this thuggery. And innocent people, innocent businessmen or others, you have the choice to speak in whatever language you want. In fact, by this sort of imposition, you are driving people away from your beautiful language.
Yeah. Mumbai is a financial capital of India.
Absolutely. And if you're going to put a gun to someone's head and say, speak in Marathi, you think that person is going to start loving Marathi by that? On the contrary, it's going to drive him away from the language also.
Exactly.
So these people, I think they are absolute thugs. They should be prosecuted. I'm disappointed that the Devendra Fadnavis government hasn't prosecuted them. They should be in jail right now. How are these thugs allowed to roam scot-free? How can they get away with this kind of nonsense? Aditya Thackeray is singing in Hindi. These people are watching Hindi films, dying to be a part of weddings where Hindi is the main language, and then you speak this nonsense and start bashing up Hindi people. Well, this is all nonsense.
To that extent.
She was struggling to speak in Marathi. When Rajdeep asked her a question in Marathi, she did not know. How embarrassing are they? I mean, so I think gone are those days when people would, but language is still a polarizing issue. That I know that. But I think we are better off than where we were in those dark days of language wars. And by the way, when this started, I mean, if we trace back the roots of people, I was on a debate yesterday and he said, it's our Marathi culture, Marathi, we need to speak. I simply asked him, I said, tell me who are the 2 biggest icons of Marathi. Tell me 2 big icons. I said, one is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, is almost worshipped in Maharashtra. Other is Veer Savarkar.
Yeah.
2 Marathi icons. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's main Kavi Bhushan, used to write in Awadhi and Hindi largely.
Okay.
Right? He was his main Raj Kavi. Right?
Okay.
Shivaji Maharaj just loved him.
Yeah.
And in Shivaji Maharaj's administration, Hindi was one of the main languages. So this is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. And Veer Savarkar, he advocated for Hindi to be the national language. Can you imagine? You are not even, you are so grossly...
Ambedkar to that extent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Veer Savarkar himself said, Veer Savarkar, such a master in Marathi, a Marathi icon, a Hindustani icon, I would say. He said Hindi should be the main language. And this man is bashing that shopkeeper or someone and saying, Bolo Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ki jai. You are not following Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's principles. Bolo Veer Savarkar ki jai. You are not following what Veer Savarkar has said. These are illiterate thugs and they've gotten away this far only because the BJP government in Maharashtra hasn't acted on them. I'm disappointed with them. I always knew they are thugs. But why is the government of the day not acting on them? That is my question. That is my grudge with this government in that sense.
So we will wait and see what is happening in all these issues. Thank you so much, Karanji. It's a pleasure to have you. I have a small request that you should come regularly in our channel and give more and more insights as well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to your viewers.
Thank you.